16 of Oceanic's Nathan Topping. What deck did you run?
I ran Spellbooks.
Alright. And how was it?
It was a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. I was going to play Gear, but I unfortunately couldn't get the cards in time and the team couldn't help. So I ended up playing Spellbooks.
Alright, let's see the list.
So we ran 8 monsters all up. Spellbook, Magician of Prophecy. Probably the best card in the deck, easily searched and adds a Spellbook. Followed up by that we have Justice, to search the Priestess and also to search a book. These help with consistency, especially when you're either wanting to open one of these 6. We then ran 2 Priestess. The reason I ran 2 was because 3 clogged too much, and 1 you always wanted a second. So we wanted 2. You never really want to get 3 Justice activations off in a game, so 2 is just the right number for us. That was it for the monsters, so we're moving on to the spells. Ran 3 Spellbook of Secrets. Best shooter card probably the game at the moment. Searches for Magician, searches for any other card in your deck essentially. I ran 3 Pot of Duality. This combos really nicely with Secrets and Magician. On turn 1 you're never special summoning, and majority of turns you're not actually ever special summoning. So Pot of Duality just lets you see 9 cards on turn 1. Yeah. We ran 3 Upstart Goblins, Hoven Theory 101, along with just drawing an extra card and allowing you to filter through your deck as fast as possible. The deck can occasionally brick, as most people know, so being able to have 3 Duality, 3 Upstarts just helps with the consistency a lot.
Alright.
We ran 2 Tower, 2 Master, 2 Crescents.
Alright, so did you miss Crescent, or did Crescent conflict with the other normal spells at all?
Crescent conflicted a little bit with the other normal spells, but normally what you're doing is you're looking for, if you have Crescents you're going to play it first, and you're going to be able to play out your hand normally. But Duality and Upstart, you don't really need them if you have Crescents or Master going in, because with Master and Crescents you have a 60% chance of hitting your Secrets on turn 1. If you have Crescent Secrets, well, you've opened the combo and you're going to win.
Right.
Then you're going to have 3 books in grave and have your Tower on the field and your Fate set. And only running 2 meant we didn't see it all the time, but if you ever open Secrets Magician, you could always add it off the Magician.
Alright.
Then we ran 2 Eternity and 2 Wisdom. I think the 5 sets of 2 ofs are pretty key to the deck. You never want to see more than 2 Wisdoms in a game, and you can always tutor it if you want it. Eternity just lets you loop your loop your RFP better, so your Fate's always live.
Alright.
Then we ran the 1 of Spellbook's Life, Power, and Fate. Power could have been a 2 of. I'm not 100% sure if I'd run it as a 2 of, because it's just so easy to search throughout the deck. But definitely a 1 of. It definitely deserves a place in the deck. One of my favorite plays of the day was summoning a Kaiku against Dragons in Game 3, and he had a Blue Eyes White Dragon on the field, and I got to Power Master Power, search a Tower and a Fate, and pretty much lock up the game from there.
Nice.
Life is just, it's another name. It revives your Priestess. It's essentially a third and fourth copy of Priestess if you ever really need it. And Fate is the best removal spell in the game at the moment, and probably the most versatile spell in the game at the moment. From there I ran Book of Moon and Darkhold. Book of Moon is just an all-around amazing card. Gets by Wiretap, and also is able to book your Magicians for additional books. And I ran the Darkhold mainly as a concession to Lightsworn. When they flood the field after a Soul Charge, you just want to be able to clear it. With the draw power in the deck from Tower, Upstart, Duality, and the thinning from your Secrets and your Magician, you're eventually able to find it, and it's just a matter of time until that card's needed.
Traps?
Traps, we ran 3 Fiendish Chain.
Yep.
The negating on monster effects, the real reason you run this card, but negating attack is also really good. Especially because most of the monsters that you have on the field are really fragile, especially with Magician. So just being able to keep the Magician on the field, not waste the Fate, is amazing. I ran 2 Trap Tricks, Trap Hole Nightmares. I ran this mainly as like a second and third bottomless.
Yep.
Majority of XYZs nowadays are running effects, so just having the next one, especially with JD running around as well, is just fine. Then we ran Bottomless, Warning, and Torrential. These are just staples. I wouldn't run the deck without them.
No compulse?
No compulse. At the time, I had 40 cards. I didn't really want a 41st, especially with running 3 upstart, 3 duality. Compulse didn't really make the cut over the other 3, and there are times that Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare is just strictly better than Compulse, especially with Soul Charge running around in the format.
Yeah.
That was the real concession there. Moving on to the extra deck.
Sure.
I didn't really summon anything in the extra deck the whole day, but Armored Kappa, Diagusto, Gachi Gachi Gentetsu, Herald of Orange Light. This combos with a card a little bit later that I'll show, but you all probably know it at this point. This was one of the only ones I summoned all day. So Cute Boss, and Diagusto Phoenix, and Shining Elf round out the 2s. I did summon Shining Elf, and I did summon Diagusto Phoenix once. Phoenix got compulsed straight away, and I did summon Herald of Pure Light to get back a Magician that had been done. I run 1/3, which is Acid Golem. I'm not 100% sure why you'd run anything else. There might be place for a Zen mains over this, but the only time you're summoning it is off 2 Justice. So you either need a giant beat stick or you just need something there. If you're summoning a Zen mains, you're kind of losing that game anyway, was my logic. The 4s are Direwolf, Abyss Dweller, and Downer Magician. The reason I didn't run Exciton Knight was the only cards I really care about are cards that are going to make off these 2. If they have a macro or something, Exciton, I've probably got more cards than them anyway, so Direwolf is just a concession to that. At worst, I can summon it off Life, Magician, or a Kaiku and a Life. Downer Magician combos perfectly with anything below level 3, as we know. My favourite play of the day was getting back a Magician and then overlaying for a Downed. My opponent attacked the Downed with a 101 Arc Knight for it to die, because he didn't actually read the card. Then we run the 7s. I didn't summon any 7s throughout the day, but we have Gaia Charger, Heliofant, Dragosack, and Big Eye. I probably would never summon them. There might be a time that you summon Dragosack, but they're just there as you have so much space.
So you only summon 3 level 2s?
I only summon
3 rank 2s.
3 rank 2s and Downer Magician.
Alright, cool.
Then my last card in my extra deck, probably the best card in the deck, is Michael Yaswan. This is actually a shout out to Burden Temnik. We needed a 15th card in the extra deck, and his logic was, you know what, just put it on top, accidentally show your opponent game 1. If you brick, just concede, and maybe they'll think you're running Light Sworn.
And did it work?
Not once.
Did you summon it?
No. Unfortunately, there's literally 0 way to summon this card, but I would run it again. Now, I'll concede my extra deck. My side deck was probably not the most polished thing in the world, but I definitely would not play any less than 2 Kaikus. This card's amazing in the format. It's insane in the mirror, as we already know. It's great against dragons, great against Light Sworn, and everything else you need. This Kaiku just does everything you want.
Alright.
2 Maxis. You don't need 3. I'd run 2. You might even cut down to 1, but with Light Sworn in the format and even Water now making a resurgence, I like this card at 2 in the deck. Yep. I ran 3 MSTs as a concession to Gear being the popular deck. Macro and Macro really hurts this deck. In one of my matches in round 5, my opponent flipped Macro in game 2 on turn 1 against my hand of Eternity, Wisdom, Priestess, Maxi. And I was able to pull out a win by summoning Priestess and looping cards to win.
Nice.
D-Fissure as a concession to the Water matchup, and along with Light Sworn. It doesn't hurt your deck, it hurts them, so why not?
Nice.
2 Black Horns. I brought them in against Gear, and I brought them in against a lot of other decks. It's really good against Exciton, which completely ruins you, and it's really good against JD, which is the big thing.
Yep.
I played 2 Decrees.
No 3?
I was going to side 3, but I really wanted space for the last card in my side deck, so I took out the 3rd. This card's really good against Gear and Hat, which is the reason I ran it. I probably would cut a card for the third one. It was just that good. Every time I flipped it, my opponent conceded straight away.
Can you help the fans with what that card would be?
Sorry?
Can you help the fans with what that card would be?
The card that I ended up putting over the third one was Soldering.
Yep.
This card is just a concession to the water matchup. The Spellbook deck has a terrible time against it. I ended up losing top 16 to it, which is garbage. My opponent in round 3, I versed water. I flipped this in game 3, and he did nothing relevant for the rest of the game. It single-handedly won me the game. And then my last 2 cards, which I never sided in, and I would actually cut these from the side deck, is actually Needle Sealing. In theory, this card is really good because your monsters don't matter, and when they commit, it's like a second and third torrential.
Yep.
But in my experience, this card is just absolutely garbage, and I'd never play it again.
All right. So what would you? Obviously, one's going to become a decree. What would you play as the other one?
Probably as the other one, I'd play either the third Kaiku or the third Black Horn of Heaven. That'd be the 2 that I'd play.
Okay. Any shoutouts?
Shout out to Burden Temnik, the ever 3rd in the Ocean player. Jenna Ritzau, our always the bridesmaid. Kurt Wurzbacher and Ryan McLean for helping me build the deck and helping me understand how I was so good. And lastly, Jai Hatterall for BD28. Love you, Jai.
Thanks.
Thank you.